13 famous faces were lost to the COVID pandemic, leaving behind an emptiness that still lingers. They were once shining icons of music, film, and American culture, yet even they could not escape the silent power of the virus. Stay with us until the end, because you may be shocked at the names that appear on this list. Number 1. Larry King. On January 23rd of the year 2021, Larry King passed away in Los Angeles at the age of 87. He had been hospitalized earlier that month after testing positive for the coronavirus, and although the official cause of death was listed as sepsis, the virus was noted as a major factor in his decline. His departure closed the book on a career that had spanned more than 6 decades and made him one of the most recognizable voices in American broadcasting. Larry King was born Lawrence Harvey Zeiger in Brooklyn, New York, in November of 1933. From modest beginnings, he built his way into radio, first as a disc jockey and later as an interviewer with a gift for drawing people out. His conversational style, often marked by simple questions and a willingness to listen, made both celebrities and everyday individuals comfortable enough to reveal their stories. This quality helped him stand out in a field dominated by personalities who were more interested in themselves than their guests. His career reached its peak with the long-running program Larry King Live on CNN, which aired from 1985 until 2010. For 25 years, millions of viewers tuned in to watch him sit across from presidents, actors, musicians, athletes, and newsmakers of every kind. His trademark look of suspenders and large glasses became part of his identity, and his calm, unhurried voice reassured audiences that they were witnessing a fair conversation rather than a staged performance. By the time he stepped away from the program, he had conducted more than 50,000 interviews, an astonishing number that spoke to both his stamina and his passion for the work. Beyond television, King remained active through his internet program Larry King Now and various podcasts, always eager to stay connected to audiences in the digital age. His resilience was notable, having survived multiple health scares, including heart attacks and lung cancer, before facing the coronavirus. To many Americans, his perseverance symbolized the enduring spirit of a man who had spent his life asking questions. When he died, tributes poured in from world leaders, Hollywood stars, fellow journalists, and ordinary fans who had grown up with his nightly presence. His death marked not only the loss of a legendary broadcaster, but also the end of an era when conversation itself was seen as an art. For generations of viewers, Larry King was more than a host. He was the voice that helped them understand the world one interview at a time. Number 2. Meat Loaf. On January 20th of the year 2022, Meat Loaf died in Nashville at the age of 74 after becoming seriously ill with the coronavirus. Reports indicated that his health had declined rapidly and his family was by his side when he passed away. His death brought an end to one of the most theatrical and larger-than-life careers in American rock music. Born Marvin Leaday in Dallas, Texas, in September of 1947, he grew up with a love for performance that combined both music and acting. His unusual stage name, which he adopted as a young man, became synonymous with booming vocals, passionate delivery, and a flair for the dramatic. With the release of Bat Out of Hell in 1977, Meat Loaf created an album that blended rock, opera, and storytelling in a way that felt completely new. Though some critics at first dismissed it as excessive, audiences embraced it, and the record went on to sell more than 40 million copies worldwide, becoming one of the best-selling albums in history. In addition to his music, Meat Loaf had a memorable presence on screen. He appeared in the Rocky Horror Picture Show as the doomed biker Eddie, a role that highlighted both his energy and his ability to command attention. Later, in the 1990s, a new generation of fans discovered him through his role in the cult classic film Fight Club, where he played Robert Paulson, a character whose name would echo in one of the film's most famous lines. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Meat Loaf faced personal and professional struggles, including disputes with collaborators and health issues that sometimes threatened his voice. Yet, he managed a remarkable comeback in 1993 with Bat Out of Hell 2, powered by the hit single I Would Do Anything for Love, which earned him a Grammy Award and cemented his reputation as a showman who could blend intensity with vulnerability. As the coronavirus spread, Meat Loaf continued performing and making appearances, but his health remained fragile. When news of his passing was announced, Tributes came from fellow musicians, actors, and fans who had been moved by his work. To many, he represented not just a singer, but a storyteller who turned every song into an emotional journey. His death marked the loss of an artist who never feared being too bold, too dramatic, or too human, leaving behind a legacy that continues to echo in stadiums, theaters, and hearts across America. Number 3. Cloris Leachman. On January 27th of the year 2021, Cloris Leachman died in Encinitas, California, at the age of 94. The cause of death was listed as a stroke, with the coronavirus noted as a significant contributing factor. Her passing ended one of the most versatile and decorated careers in American entertainment history, stretching across film, television, and theater for more than 7 decades. She was born in Des Moines, Iowa, in April of 1926. After winning the Miss Chicago title in 1946, she competed in the Miss America pageant and soon after pursued acting studies at Northwestern University. Her early-stage work eventually led her to television, where her natural wit and impeccable timing set her apart. It was her role as Phyllis Lindstrom on The Mary Tyler Moore Show in the 1970s that brought her widespread recognition. Audiences loved her sharp comedic edge, and the role earned her 2 Emmy Awards along with a spin-off series simply titled Phyllis. In film, Cloris Leachman showed remarkable range. She won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her haunting performance in The Last Picture Show in 1971, proving she was equally skilled at drama. At the same time, her work with Mel Brooks in Young Frankenstein and High Anxiety displayed her fearless comedic instincts, cementing her reputation as an actress who could do it all. Over the course of her life, she earned more Emmy Awards than any other performer of her generation, a testament to her enduring talent and adaptability. Even in her later years, Cloris Leachman never slowed down. She appeared in Malcolm in the Middle, Raising Hope, and Dancing with the Stars, charming new generations of viewers with her humor and courage. Her ability to reinvent herself time and again made her a beloved figure across different eras of American television. When she passed away, fellow actors, comedians, and filmmakers described her as a trailblazer who broke boundaries with every performance. Her death was a reminder that even the brightest lights eventually dim, yet the stories and laughter they leave behind continue to inspire. For anyone who values the legends who shaped American culture, her legacy stands as proof that true artistry never fades. If you want to keep discovering more untold stories of icons who left their mark, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next chapter. Number 4. David Prowse. On November 28th of the year 2020, David Prowse died in London at the age of 85 after contracting the coronavirus. His towering 6'6" frame and commanding presence made him a natural choice for physical roles, but it was his work as the man inside the Darth Vader costume in the original Star Wars trilogy that secured his place in cinematic history. Though audiences never heard his voice in the films, his movements and body language defined one of the most iconic villains of all time. David Prowse was born in Bristol, England, in July of 1935. He grew up in a working-class family and discovered a passion for bodybuilding in his youth. His dedication to fitness led him to win competitions and eventually represent England in weightlifting at the Commonwealth Games. This physical training prepared him for a career in film, where his imposing size often landed him roles as monsters, henchmen, and other formidable characters. In addition to his most famous role in Star Wars, Prowse appeared in several Hammer horror films during the 1970s, often cast as creatures or brutes. He also played the Frankenstein monster in 3 different movies produced by Hammer Studios, cementing his status as a cult favorite among fans of Gothic horror. His presence on screen was unmistakable, even when his face was hidden behind layers of makeup or a mask. Outside of film, David Prowse became a household name in Britain as the Green Cross Code Man, a superhero character created to promote road safety to children. His appearances in public service announcements made him a beloved figure, proving that beneath the imposing exterior was a man committed to making a positive impact. In the United States, however, he would forever be associated with Darth Vader, even though his voice had been dubbed by James Earl Jones and his face replaced by other actors. As the years passed, Prowse became a regular at fan conventions, meeting admirers from around the world who credited him with bringing a larger-than-life villain to life. His health declined in his later years, and when he succumbed to the coronavirus, tributes from Star Wars fans and colleagues poured in. For millions who grew up watching the saga, His performance gave physical form to a character whose shadow loomed over modern cinema. His legacy lives on every time a child first hears the words spoken by Darth Vader and sees the unmistakable silhouette that David Prowse created. Number 5. Kenzo Takada. On October 4th of the year 2020, Kenzo Takada died in Paris at the age of 81 after contracting the coronavirus. His passing marked the end of a remarkable journey that began in Japan and transformed him into one of the most celebrated fashion designers in the world. His work, filled with bold prints, vibrant colors, and a fearless blending of cultures, brought new energy to runways and department stores across America. Kenzo Takada was born in Himeji, Japan, in February of 1939. He grew up with an early love for drawing and style, which led him to study at Bunka Fashion College in Tokyo, a school that had only recently opened its doors to male students. From there, his path led him to Paris in the mid-1960s, armed with little more than determination and a suitcase of sketches. Within a few years, his designs began attracting attention for their fresh take on traditional Japanese elements mixed with European flair. By the early 1970s, Kenzo had opened his own boutique and launched collections that broke the mold of restrained French couture. His clothes were playful, oversized, and daring, capturing the spirit of a new generation eager to move away from convention. American buyers quickly embraced his work, and soon his name appeared in magazines, fashion shows, and department stores throughout the United States. His designs did not just clothe people, they made them feel adventurous and free. In the 1980s and 1990s, Kenzo expanded his brand into perfumes and accessories, ensuring that his vision reached an even wider audience. Many Americans remember the scent of Kenzo fragrances, or the distinctive patterns that set his garments apart from the more conservative brands of the time. Though he sold his company to a larger fashion group in the 1990s, his influence continued to shape the industry long after. When he died, the fashion world mourned the loss of a pioneer who proved that creativity knows no borders. His legacy continues in every collection that dares to mix tradition with innovation. How many of you have ever seen or worn something that carried the spirit of Kenzo, with its joyful clash of colors and patterns? His designs live on not only in museums and archives, but also in the confidence they gave to anyone bold enough to wear them. Number 6. Tommy DeVito. On September 21st of the year 2020, Tommy DeVito died in Las Vegas at the age of 92 after contracting the coronavirus. His passing silenced one of the founding voices behind the Four Seasons, the legendary group that defined a generation of American pop music. His guitar work and harmonies helped shape songs that became part of the soundtrack of the 1960s, songs still sung and celebrated today. Tommy DeVito was born in Belleville, New Jersey, in June of 1928. Growing up in a working-class Italian-American family, he discovered music at an early age and began performing locally with friends. He eventually joined forces with Frankie Valli, Bob Gaudio, and Nick Massey to form the Four Seasons in the early 1960s. With DeVito on guitar, the group found its signature sound, a blend of falsetto vocals and rich harmonies layered over catchy melodies. Their breakthrough came with the single Sherry in 1962, which quickly climbed the charts and established the band as a dominant force. More hits followed, including Big Girls Do Not Cry, Walk Like a Man, and Ragdoll, songs that became inseparable from the era itself. DeVito was not only a performer but also a driving force behind the group's energy, both on stage and off. His role was immortalized decades later in the hit Broadway musical Jersey Boys, which retold the rise and struggles of the group for new generations. Despite success, life within the band was not always easy. DeVito left the Four Seasons in 1970, citing personal challenges and financial troubles. Yet even after stepping away, his influence remained. The guitar riffs and harmonies he created continued to resonate in every performance and recording, reminding fans of the part he played in shaping American pop history. In later years, DeVito kept a lower profile, occasionally granting interviews and appearing in projects related to the band's legacy. When the coronavirus took his life, tributes poured in from fellow musicians, Broadway stars, and fans who had never stopped singing the words of the songs he helped bring to life. His story is one of a musician whose work captured the hope, energy, and rhythm of a changing America. Though decades have passed since those songs first played on jukeboxes, Tommy DeVito's contributions remain woven into the memory of American music culture. Number 7. Manu Dibango. On March 24th of the year 2020, Manu Dibango died in Paris at the age of 86 after contracting the coronavirus. His passing marked the loss of a pioneering musician whose saxophone and compositions bridged continents and reshaped the sound of modern music. Known as one of the first global stars to bring African rhythms into mainstream consciousness, his influence reached deep into American pop, disco, and hip-hop. Manu Dibango was born in Douala, Cameroon, in December of 1933. He began playing music as a child and eventually moved to France in his teenage years, where he continued his training. By the 1960s, he was already making a name for himself as a versatile performer able to combine jazz with African styles. His true breakthrough came in 1972 with the release of Soul Makossa, a track whose infectious groove and distinctive chant spread far beyond Africa and Europe. In the United States, Soul Makossa became an underground hit before reaching the charts. The song's rhythm and vocal line would later echo through generations, most famously when Michael Jackson incorporated its hook into Wanna Be Startin' Somethin' in 1983. Countless hip-hop and dance artists sampled or drew inspiration from Dibango's work, making his sound one of the building blocks of modern popular music. Throughout his career, Manu Dibango collaborated with jazz legends, funk innovators, and African musicians alike. He toured internationally, performing in major American cities where audiences embraced his ability to blend the familiar with the exotic. His concerts were celebrations of rhythm, uniting people from different backgrounds through the universal language of music. For many Americans discovering African music for the first time, Dibango served as an ambassador who opened doors to new worlds of sound. Even in his later years, he remained active, recording albums and performing live. His energy on stage never diminished, and his saxophone continued to carry the warmth and vitality that had defined his artistry. When the coronavirus ended his life, tributes poured in from around the globe, particularly from musicians who had borrowed, sampled, or been inspired by his work. His death was a reminder that the threads of music stretch across boundaries, and one man's vision can influence entire genres. Manu Dibango's legacy endures every time a beat drops, a sample plays, or a saxophone riff calls listeners to dance. Number 8. Alan Merrill. On March 29th of the year 2020, Alan Merrill died in New York City at the age of 69 after contracting the coronavirus. His passing shocked fans of rock music, for he was the man who wrote and first recorded the anthem "I Love Rock and Roll," a song that would go on to define an era. Though Joan Jett later turned it into a global hit, it was Merrill's vision and songwriting that first gave the track life. Alan Merrill was born Alan Preston Sachs in the Bronx, New York, in February of 1951. He grew up in a musical household, as his mother was a jazz singer and his father a saxophonist. Surrounded by music from an early age, he developed a passion for both performing and writing. As a teenager, he moved to Japan, where he built a career as one of the first Western pop stars in the country. His time there broadened his cultural horizons and prepared him for the international stage. By the mid-1970s, Merrill returned to the United States and formed the band The Arrows. It was during this period that he wrote "I Love Rock and Roll," which the group recorded in 1975. The song was catchy, raw, and celebratory, embodying the rebellious spirit of rock and quickly gaining traction. While the Arrows did not reach lasting mainstream fame, their song lived on and became immortal when Joan Jett and the Blackhearts re-recorded it in the early 1980s. Her version topped charts worldwide, but Merrill's authorship ensured his place in music history. Beyond his most famous song, Merrill enjoyed a wide-ranging career. He played with Meat Loaf's touring band, worked with various artists, and continued writing and recording music throughout his life. He also acted on television in Japan and appeared in music programs that exposed him to audiences across continents. Though he never achieved the fame of some of his contemporaries, he carried the pride of having written one of the most enduring anthems in American rock culture. When Alan Merrill died, tributes came from fellow musicians and fans who recognized his contribution to music history. His sudden passing served as a reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who once helped define the soundtrack of youth. Every time the opening riff of "I Love Rock and Roll" plays, his legacy returns, sparking memories of a time when guitars, leather jackets, and rebellious voices ruled the airwaves. Number 9. Mark Blum. On March 25th of the year, 2020, Mark Blum died in New York at the age of 69 after suffering complications from the coronavirus. His death was a sudden loss to both stage and screen, cutting short the life of an actor who had built his reputation on consistency, depth, and an ability to disappear into every role. Audiences knew him from movies, television series, and the theater, where his craft left a lasting impression. Mark Blum was born in Newark, New Jersey, in May of 1950. He discovered acting during his college years and pursued it with determination, eventually earning roles in the New York theater scene. His steady presence and sharp timing made him a reliable performer, and he gained recognition among his peers for his discipline and respect for the stage. He was a long-standing member of Playwrights Horizons, one of the city's most respected theaters, and appeared in numerous productions over the decades. His film career took off in the 1980s, when he starred opposite Madonna and Rosanna Arquette in Desperately Seeking Susan. The quirky romantic comedy brought him national attention and highlighted his ability to play the charming yet complicated supporting character. Soon after, he appeared in Crocodile Dundee, further cementing his visibility among mainstream audiences. These roles made him a familiar face to millions of Americans who flocked to theaters during that decade. In addition to film, Mark Blum became a fixture on television. Over the years, he appeared in Law & Order, NYPD Blue, The Sopranos, and many other programs that defined American television drama. More recently, he reached new audiences through his recurring role in the Netflix series You, where he portrayed bookstore owner Mr. Mooney. His performance brought warmth and depth to a character whose sternness masked a genuine concern for others. When news of his death broke, colleagues in theater and film spoke of his generosity as a performer and his dedication to the craft. Fellow actors remembered him as a professional who always elevated the work of those around him. Audiences remembered the moments he gave them, whether on stage in an intimate theater or on the screen in a blockbuster movie. His passing was not just the loss of a talented actor, but also of a bridge between generations of performers. Mark Blum's career proved that even without superstardom, an actor can achieve greatness by bringing honesty and authenticity to every role. Number 10. DJ Kay Slay. On April 17th of the year 2022, DJ Kay Slay died in New York City at the age of 55 after battling complications from the coronavirus. His passing was felt deeply within the hip-hop community, where he had built a reputation as one of the most influential and fearless figures in mixtape culture. Known as the Drama King, he spent decades shaping the sound of rap music, introducing new talent, and pushing the boundaries of what a DJ could be. DJ Kay Slay was born Keith Grayson in August of 1966 in Harlem. As a young man, he immersed himself in the culture of graffiti, tagging walls and trains under the name Dez. His artistry on the streets was captured in the landmark documentary Style Wars, which highlighted the birth of hip-hop culture in New York. Over time, his focus shifted from visual art to music, and he began building a career as a DJ, cutting mixtapes that would eventually dominate the underground scene. By the 1990s, DJ Kay Slay had become a central figure in hip-hop. His mixtapes were famous for featuring exclusive tracks, unexpected collaborations, and raw energy that could not be found on mainstream radio. He gave a platform to both rising stars and established rappers, earning him respect from every corner of the industry. His ability to spark rivalries and host legendary rap battles only added to his larger-than-life persona. In the early 2000s, he expanded his influence through Hot 97, one of New York's most powerful radio stations. From that platform, he continued to premiere new music and break records that would go on to dominate the charts. He released his own albums as well, filled with features from some of the biggest names in hip-hop, cementing his place not just as a DJ, but also as a curator of culture. When the coronavirus claimed his life, tributes poured in from artists such as Nas, Ice-T, and Busta Rhymes, who credited him with helping shape their careers and keeping the spirit of the streets alive. Fans mourned a man who never compromised his vision and always put the music first. How many of you grew up listening to his mixtapes or heard his voice on late-night radio, introducing a song that would later become a classic? His legacy continues every time a DJ spins a record with the same passion and intensity he brought to hip-hop. Number 11. Wallace Roney. On March 31st of the year 2020, Wallace Roney died in Paterson, New Jersey, at the age of 59, after suffering complications from the coronavirus. His death cut short the career of a trumpet player whose sound carried both the weight of tradition and the spark of innovation. As a student and protege of Miles Davis, Roney became one of the few musicians personally mentored by the jazz legend, a connection that forever shaped his path. Wallace Roney was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in May of 1960. He displayed a gift for music early in his life, taking up the trumpet as a child and performing in youth orchestras. By his teenage years, he was already earning recognition for his technical skill and expressive tone. His early promise led him to study at the Berklee College of Music and the Howard University School of Fine Arts, where he deepened both his discipline and his artistry. In the 1980s, Roney began performing with celebrated ensembles and artists, including the Jazz Messengers, led by Art Blakey. His association with Miles Davis began later in that decade, culminating in a performance alongside him at the Montreux Jazz Festival in 1991. That moment placed Roney firmly in the spotlight, and from then on he was seen as a musician carrying forward Davis's spirit while forging his own voice. Over the next decades, Roney released a series of albums that showcased his skill not only as a trumpeter, but also as a band leader. Records such as Mr. Jones and No Room for Argument displayed his ability to merge post-bop traditions with modern influences. He collaborated with leading jazz figures while also nurturing younger musicians, passing down the lessons he himself had received. His playing was often described as lyrical yet daring, balancing sensitivity with bursts of bold improvisation. When news of his death spread, tributes came from across the jazz world. Musicians and critics alike recognized him as a vital link between generations, someone who had absorbed the lessons of a master while creating space for his own artistry. His passing was a painful reminder of how much the coronavirus had taken from the arts. Wallace Roney's legacy lives on in his recordings, in the musicians he mentored, and in the notes that continue to inspire anyone who believes in the transformative power of jazz. Number 12. Bruce Williamson. On September 6th of the year 2020, Bruce Williamson died in Las Vegas at the age of 49 after contracting the coronavirus. His death ended the life of a powerful soul singer who once stood at the front of the Temptations, one of the most legendary vocal groups in American music history. His booming voice and stage charisma carried the group into the new millennium, reminding audiences that their timeless sound could still resonate. Bruce Williamson was born in Compton, California, in September of 1970. Growing up in a city with a deep musical heritage, he developed a love for gospel and soul at an early age. He began singing in church, honing a voice that was rich, commanding, and filled with emotion. His talent eventually brought him to the attention of Otis Williams, the last surviving original member of the Temptations, who invited him to join the group in 2006. During his years with the Temptations, Williamson became known for his ability to honor the legacy of the group while bringing his own energy to the stage. He performed classics such as My Girl, Papa Was a Rollin' Stone, and Just My Imagination, songs that had defined earlier generations but still thrilled audiences worldwide. His presence reassured fans that the music of the Temptations would not fade, even as time passed. In addition to performing the old hits, Williamson contributed to new material. He recorded with the group on albums like Back to Front and Still Here, helping to keep the Temptations' catalog fresh for longtime followers and new listeners alike. His combination of vocal power and showmanship made him a natural fit for the demanding role of leading one of the most beloved groups in American soul. After leaving the Temptations in 2015, Williamson continued to perform independently, returning often to his gospel roots. He remained a beloved figure in Las Vegas, where he had built a home and community. Friends and fans admired his generosity, humor, and dedication to his craft. When he died from complications of the coronavirus, tributes flowed from fellow musicians and loyal fans who had seen him keep a classic sound alive. His passing was a reminder of how the pandemic had touched every corner of the music world, from the youngest rising artists to those entrusted with carrying the torch of history. Bruce Williamson's voice, filled with passion and soul, remains etched in the memory of audiences who heard him sing. Number 13. John Davis. On May 24th of the year 2021, John Davis died in Nuremberg, Germany, at the age of 66 after contracting the coronavirus. His death revealed once more the hidden story of Milli Vanilli, the pop duo whose fame in the late 1980s and early 1990s came crashing down in one of the biggest scandals in music history. Davis was one of the true vocalists behind the group's hits, a fact unknown to the public at the time of their rise. John Davis was born in Anderson, South Carolina, in August of 1954. He discovered his gift for music early and pursued it with determination, eventually moving to Germany, where he built a career as a singer and producer. His strong, soulful voice became the foundation of the sound that carried Milli Vanilli to the top of the charts, even though it was the faces of Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan that appeared on stage and in music videos. Songs like Girl You Know It's True, Blame It on the Rain, and Girl I'm Gonna Miss You became international hits, winning Grammy Awards and dominating radio playlists. Fans around the world believed they were hearing Pilatus and Morvan, unaware that it was Davis and other session singers who had provided the vocals. When the truth was exposed in 1990, the scandal shook the industry and stripped Milli Vanilli of their Grammy. Davis, though not in the spotlight, endured the frustration of seeing his work hidden in plain sight. In later years, Davis embraced his role in the story, performing proudly under his own name and even teaming up with Fab Morvan to bring closure to the legacy. He appeared on stage, sang the songs that had once been shrouded in controversy, and finally received recognition for his contribution. For many fans, hearing him perform was both vindication and a reminder of the power of his voice. When he died from the coronavirus, tributes poured in from around the world. Fans and fellow musicians acknowledged not only his talent but also the injustice he had endured. His death was a painful reminder of how fleeting fame can be, yet it also highlighted how truth eventually rises to the surface. To continue uncovering more untold stories of music and film legends, make sure you subscribe so you will not miss the next journey into history.